Tell me about you and your work.
Hi, well, my name is Santangelo. Well, we might as well preface this with everything, okay? I'm a retired surgeon. But I had a lady by name of Sister Mary Pascal put a camera in my hand when I was a junior in high school and said, guess what, you're the school photographer from now on. And that introduced me to photography.
What
And
about this piece?
This I do have to admit is a manipulated piece, okay? For photojournalists, you don't touch anything, okay? For a documentarian, you don't. But we are capable of doing art with our photography in a lot of different ways now that digital has allowed us to do.
What did you do here?
And this, to start off with, is actually a series of crocheted balls. Many of them are 20 or so inches in diameter. They were hanging in the back of a fabric and yarn place in a shop in Paris. And I walked by and I saw this, and the wall behind them was a light gray. There was no contrast, there was nothing, but I said, I was just fascinated by all of these things they were hanging. And so I took a bunch of pictures, and when I came home, I just started manipulating the exposure. And I lowered the exposure of the wall, and I increased the exposure of the artifacts in the picture, so that I now had this nice contrast, and it just sort of popped.
Beautiful image.
And in the process of doing that, all the strings that were there, most of them disappeared. What little was left, I got rid of, and it looks like they're all floating.
Now this one here, this is another style of yours, huh?
This is what I call street photography, okay? This is in Bryant Park in New York, and it's called Bryant Park Crisis. And it's very interesting. Many people ask me what's going on, and many of my gay friends look at it and go, oh, we know what's happening here. And so in my little talk earlier, I really let the things speak for themselves. Some people will walk away with their own interpretations, and guess what? That's fine. That's what art does, is it provokes people to think and provides their own stories. But sometimes to some people the story is very obvious, and to other people they aren't.
Very true. Right here, if you would, and one last question.
Yeah.
What do you think about this organization?
This place is great. I got to tell you that I'm biased and prejudiced. My wife has been on the board and has been president of the board for 3 or 4 years, but she's been on the board for the last 6 or 8 years, and is actually leaving the board, but will still maintain her presence here as a volunteer. You know, the arts are a leveling, communicating being for all intents and purposes. I think it causes people to think when they come into galleries and look at people's art. They form their own ideas of what somebody's portraying on the wall. They may get whatever the artist wants you to see, or they may be giving their own interpretation. But I think what it ultimately does is it civilizes us. It brings us together in a place that we're allowed to think of different things and think different ways.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.